Yo, what's popping, guys, and welcome back to the RPG tutorial 2022 edition, where I'm making a new tutorial on a RPG for you guys, because I think the last one, despite how popular it is, with almost nearing 100,000 views, which is crazy in and of itself. I think it's around 80,000 right now. I don't think it's my best work, and I think I can do better. So that's what this series is here to do. So last time, if you remember, we covered player movement and player transferring between different places. So character, and they touch the wall, and then they can transfer between places as they so choose. Today I'm going to be teaching you guys how to set up some sort of a class creation system, or not even class creation, some sort of a like character customization system, such as setting up letting players set up their own strength, defense, intellect, dexterity, charm, one of those kinds of menus that you'd see in like Fallout 4 or when you're setting up a D&D character. So let's get right into that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make this a backdrop. All right, so the backdrops I have is all of these things. All right, which might be an issue because, oh no, never mind, this is fine. Should be fine. Yeah, no, we're fine. So what we're gonna do is when the green flag is clicked, we're gonna make a new backdrop. Okay, I'm gonna drag it up here, and I'm gonna call it character creator. Okay, spend as much time as you want decorating this. I'm just gonna do something basic, like just a gray background. Will be more than fine for me. And then the things that I'm going to be covering. And I'm going to be covering strength, defense, intellect, dexterity, charm. If you want to add more, go right ahead. These are just the 5 that I'm going to be teaching you how to implement into your game. Obviously, you can add more here and then figure out how to put the rest of them in, but this is the ones I'm going to be teaching you. So, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to be saying like character points, right? Because that's the currency you'll be spending. Call it whatever you want. I'm going to call it character points. Okay, there we go, and we'll save that. And now on the backdrop where it says we switch to backdrop 1, we're going to switch it to character creator. So we start just like that. Obviously, we don't want our player to be showing. So on the green flag click, we will actually hide, right? And then same with the player hitbox. We will hide. Okay. And now what we'll do is on this character creator, we're going to need to make some variables. So what we're going to do is, well, we can set this up in a few ways. I'm just going to do it with variables for now. Okay. So we're going to make a variable. We're going to call it character points. Make another one for strength. Make another one for intellect. Well, you know, let's just set it up the cool way now. Let's just do it the cool way now. Get it out of the way. So make a list, and we're going to call this character attributes. You can call it whatever you want. That's just what I'm going to be calling it. Character attributes. So on the green flag click, we are going to delete all of character attributes, and then we're going to do this 6 times. So we're going to grab a repeat and put in 6. The reason we're doing 6 is 1 for character points, and then the other 5 will be for these. So that's 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's what that's all about. Repeat 6 times. We will add 0 to character attributes. So let's show character attributes, and then when we click play, you'll see it fills that up right away. If you want to make this faster, we can do something like this. We can do load attributes list, and then tick run without screen refresh so that it runs really fast. And then we can do it like this so that you'll see it does it basically instantly. So fast you can't even see it. So like if I just delete all of them, let me hit play, fills it up pretty much instantly. So you don't have to worry about speed being an issue. Now what we can do is we still want that in there, obviously. But then right afterwards, we're going to come down to our lists, and we're going to replace item 1 of character attributes with however many character points you want them to be able to divvy up. Let's say you want 20. So you see when we start, it sets 1 to 20 because it replaces item 1 of the character attributes list with 20. It replaces it. It was 0, and it replaced it with 20. So that's how many character points that I want to have, right? If you want less, you can put less. If you want more, you can put more. I'm just going to do 20 though. I think 20 is a good amount. Don't forget to save your project at all times after you do anything in case something bad were to happen. Now what we're going to do is we are going to set up a way for you to actually divvy up these points. Let's hide that. We're going to find a way for you to divvy up the points. So how are we going to do this? So there's a few ways we can do it, right? And the way that I'm going to be doing it is by setting up like a little arrow system. But what we're going to do first is we are going to make a sprite, and we are going to call this number stamps. Okay? And then what we're going to do is in any font you want, I'm going to just do what I have here. You're going to type in 0. Here, let's start with 1. Right? No, let's start with 0. 0. And we're going to center all these numbers, so don't even worry. But if you really want to make sure you're getting it right, what you can do is make like a red box, right? And set this up to have like 1. Right? And you can choose how big you want the number to be. Let's say that. That's how big you want the number to be. So what you can do is you can... Okay, this one's invisible. Just delete it. So you can take this and you can center this, right? And call this costume blank. Okay? Then what you can do is you can set this to however you really want it to be. Actually, switch that to 3, and then I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. Because you'll see it up here, how it's going to look, how big it'll be. Right? If I can move that, there we go. Right? Just like that. So let's say I want it this big. Put the blank there, and then duplicate the blank, and then inside here is where you can put your numbers. So we're going to start with 0. This is how big the number can be. And then you can also feel free to draw in your own number if you really wanted to. But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do it just like this. Okay, so boom. 0. I could probably move that over a little bit. 0. And then you get rid of the box on the outside. This is just to make sure that it's all centered. And then call this 0. Make sure it's the same digit. If this is like an H, make sure the costume name is H. And make sure it's capital, lowercase, sensitive as well if you're going to do more than one. I'm just going to do numbers. So blank 2. I'll actually copy this since it's already of the same size. I'll paste it, and then I'll just set it to a 1. Then I'll center it there. And then delete that. Copy the blank. Paste in the number. Type in a 2. It's already pretty centered, so I'm happy with that. Pretty happy with that. If anything, you can then... Oh, don't forget to be calling these things the right things. So 2, 1... 2, duplicate this, 3, then don't forget to move it over a little bit, center it however you need it to be centered, and you're going to do this with every number. So you'll do it with 1, 2, 3, you'll do it with 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You won't have to do it with 10 because 10 is just a mixture of 1 and 0, so you can just use that, so you don't have to worry about any of that stuff. This is something kind of complex, but it's pretty understandable once you figure out how it's done, so I wouldn't worry too much about it. 8 and 9. Okay, and now you can just go ahead and delete all the red from each of these numbers. Oh, I just realized these aren't in order. Ew. Also, I didn't even make an 8. I'm an idiot. Okay, I can just make that in a second. Hold up. Hold up, we can make that. Not a big deal. 6, 7, 8. I'm just gonna fix this big gap. 7, 9. Okay, there we go. Awesome. Have our numbers now. Great. See, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, you want to line it up generally where you want it. Let's say I'll want it right here. And then you need to figure out how far. So this is where it actually is centered. I want it to look like this, so this is where the box will be. Now what you'll do is you'll want to come down to this button right here, and you'll want to add pen. So we'll add the pen just like this. And just to make it easier to see, I'll move my face down over here. So I'll move it over here. There we go. Okay. So what you're going to want to do is once you have it where you need it, you're going to go ahead and you're going to hit the stamp button. Stamp. Cool. And then you're going to start moving by 10s and watch the box. Because since you stamped one, there's going to be one that's there, and you're going to move it so that it's just touching its line. So boom, just like that. You see how these lines are overlapping pretty perfectly? If you want to move it a little bit more, you could. So let's test out how much that actually was. So -10. Okay, so hey, -10. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. So every 30 steps, it's next to itself, which is what we want. If that doesn't make sense, I'm sorry. I'm trying to explain this to the best of my ability. But go ahead, hit that erase all, and then move this guy move this guy back to where he was. So what we're going to set up is we are going to set up a system that draws the numbers equally. So here's what we're going to do. We are going to, underneath this number stamps, we are going to do when I receive green flag. Okay. We're going to grab a forever loop. We are forever going to go to the location of the first spot, which I guess could be, in theory, the character points. So let's do that. Let's move up this character point. So like set it to a 0, right? Put it up here where we want it. We want it right there, right? I think that looks fine. Okay, we want our point number right there. So stay there. So we'll start by going to 143, or here, do this. Make a block and call it number placement is what I'll call it. You can call it whatever you want. I'm going to call it number placement. Check run without screen refresh, so that again that this does this instantly. And put a forever loop around number placement. So number placement will start by going there, right? And then what we will do is we will check. Since I can have two numbers in mind, again, if you set your character point value to be 100, you see this, how 2? So 20 is going to be my maximum, so there's 2 digits there. So I'm only going to do this twice. If you have 3 digits, you can do 3, 4, 4. I don't know why you'd do 4. That'd be a little bit crazy. But so here's what we're going to do. We are going to check the number, right? And then we're going to see how big it is. So what we'll do is we'll set up a system like this. So what we'll say is we'll set each number to what we need it to be. Sorry if that didn't make sense. I'm going to explain this a little bit better. Okay, so check and make sure all your costumes are correct. See how my 9 is called 8. That's an issue, right? 7. This needs to be 8. Do I have an 8? I have an 8 listed somewhere. Where's my 8 listed? Right there. Okay. So set this to like 78 so that I can set this to 7, set this to 9, set this to 8, set this to 7. Okay, make sure all of this is equal. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that these are both equal. It's very important that the name is exactly the same as the digit. So what we're going to do is we are going to switch the costume to item 1 of character attributes, because item 1 of character attributes is a 20, right? It's a 20, but we can't load a 20 because we didn't actually make 20 a digit. So what we're going to do is we're going to come to our operators. We're going to grab letter 1 of character attributes. So what's the first letter of character attributes? Even if it's listed as a number, it counts these digits as letters. So item 1 is a 2. So it'll switch the costume. If you see, if I run this, it'll switch this number to a 2. Watch this. 2, exactly what we want. So we'll run that. And then what we will say is, we will run an if statement. We will say if, where are we here? So since mine's 20, what we can do is we can check how many digits are in the first section. So what we can do is we can say equals, okay? And I can do if length of item 1 of character attributes is equal to 2. Again, if you have 3, you'll make this 3 and then do it again. So here we go. Length of item 1 of character attributes is 2 because there are 2 digits in this first slot. So if it's equal to 2, which should be true if we run this, true, what we will do is we will move 30. Because remember, 30 steps moves that box perfectly to line up with itself. Again, your box will most likely be different unless you somehow copied my increments exactly, which if you want to copy my increments exactly, just make sure your box is 31 by 51 in length, and you can adjust that really monotonously if you really want to, but you'll figure out the numbers by yourself. Like for example, in When the World Ended, I'm pretty sure it was 18 for me, was my box's length between. So we'll move 30 steps, but don't forget, I forgot to add this, you'll stamp when you switch the costume. Stamp right there. Okay, then what we'll do is you'll move 30 steps. We will switch the costume to letter 2 of 1 because again it checks if it's 2. It will move 30, switch it to 2, right, which would be a 0 in this case, 0, and then it will stamp it again. Okay, so if you look, we hit play, it stamps 20. It's a little bit low, which is a little bit weird. That's a bit odd. So hold up, also make sure you hit erase all up here. That's really odd. Move back up here. That's why. This Y is incorrect. I didn't change the Y. I didn't change the Y. 156. Okay, if you hit play, you'll see that it switches that number to 20, exactly what we want. And you can't even tell. It's pretty hard to tell. You can also put a hide here, and I'm pretty sure everything will still work. Yes, it does. Everything still works. You can put a hide there so that you can't drag the numbers. Because you see, if you didn't have this hide here, like if we had this showing and you hit play, you can still drag, and that just messes all kinds of stuff up. So just hit hide here, and then boom, you can't do that, and that fixes that issue. Don't forget to save. And now I will have it show for a moment so we can move it down to where the strength category is, and we're gonna do the same here. Then what we're gonna do is we're gonna basically run this, right? So go to, and we'll set this go to wherever we need. You can find the go to right here. So mine is, I put it right there, so I want it at 1038. So letter 1 of 2, because 2 is what we're changing our strength, right? Then we'll stamp it, then we'll check if length of 2 of character attributes equals 2. It'll do the same thing again, set this to a 2. And then boom, everything is the same there. We'll duplicate this again, move it down to the dexterity section, which is right here for us, and just switch out all the 3s, right? So switch out where it actually is located, right? So -18 and -10, but then this 2 gets switched to a 3, this to a 3, this to... No, excuse me. I'm editing the wrong thing. 1038. This third one, is it'll do its stamp thing. Wait, hold up. I'm confused. I confused myself. Okay, yeah. Here we are. Here's where we're editing. -18, -10 is where I had it. And then this 3 will be set to a 3, this one to a 3, and this one to a 3. We will duplicate this section again in here. Before I even connect it, I'll just do it here. So grab the 0, put it where we want it. Let's say right there. So that's -23, -59, and switch all these 3s out with 4s. Connect that, duplicate it again, move the 0 where we need it, right, say there. Select where we need it, 24 and -109, and then set all these to 5s. Connect it, and then I only have one more. If you have more, you'll just keep doing this process until you find all the things you need to do. So let's say I want it right there. I'll just move it out a little bit. There, that looks nice. So that's -71 and -156. Again, I'm finding these coordinates right here, and then connect that, but not before setting all these 5s to 6s. And now you'll see if we start the game, all these, this is 20, and all these switch to 0. Now everything is set up for what we need to do. We won't have to touch this ever again, which is really nice. So now what we'll do is we'll set up a way for you to change this area of, change these, right? So here's what we'll do. We'll make a new sprite. You can't see it because my face is covering, but we'll make a new sprite. And I'm just going to make this a little arrow. So what I'll do is I'll make a dark box. So the fill will be like that. And the outline will be a dark gray. Make this about a 10. That's black. I don't want it to be black. I want it to be a dark gray because it looks better. Make it a little tiny square, just like this. Add that. And then what I'll do is I'll make a little arrow inside, just like this. Cool. Boom. I'm going to call this up. I'm going to call this down. Grab that, flip it vertically. Boom, little arrows just like that. So what we can do is we can set it up just like this, where we have an arrow. So we're going to call this character creator arrows. And what we're going to do is we're going to say when the green flag is clicked, we are going to create a few clones. So 2 for each. So 5 times 2, that's 10. So we are going to repeat 10 times. We are going to make a variable, and we're going to call this selector, right? Selector. There we go. Click for this sprite only. We'll set selector to 0. And then in this 10, again, this to be changed depending on how much stuff you have. You're going to change your selector by 1, right? And then you are going to create a clone of yourself. So create a clone of myself. Okay, and now what we're going to do is when we start as a clone, we're going to check if our selector equals 1. Okay, selector, because it starts at 0 and then it starts by changing the selector to 1. So the first one will instantly be 1 regardless, and then it'll create a clone. So create a clone. If selector equals 1, we will switch our variable to up. So let's do that. Decide where we want it. Say we want it right there. Go to here and show. Okay, then we'll do, if it's 2, we'll switch it to down, right? If you want to test how this can look, what you can do, you can run this up, and then you can feel free to stamp it, and then switch it to down, and just try moving it, right? Say, let's just change, and this would be changing the y. Change the y by negative, say 5. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35. 35 works for me. Okay, so minus 35. So 57, and then you'll do 57 minus 35. I don't know this off the top of my head because I'm stupid, so I'm going to grab a calculator and do that real quick. Why use math when you have a calculator? Okay, in my case, that makes that 22. Okay, so if you take a look already, you'll see that it creates 2 clones, right? Hide that sprite. Hold up, hide that. So hide that. See, it makes the clones just like that. Then you have 2 little arrows right here that both have their own number accounting with them, and that number being, this one has a number of 1, this one has a number of 2. That's what that, that's why we made it for this variable only, or for this sprite only, so that each clone has its own variable attached to it. So that's really nice. So I'm going to re-show this. I'm going to choose where I want it. So we're going to duplicate this, set this to a 3, set this to up. So cool. Say I want it right. Okay, this might be a little bit of an issue. So here, I'll actually mess around with this for a second. So let's run this. Okay, cool. So go to here. Let's say I actually want it like this. Let's do this. I'll run it like that. So 87, 39, and then this will stay the same, 39, except I'll just move where it's located. So let's have it go to here. Okay, I'll stamp it, stamp, and then switch it to this, and then have this move a little bit. All right, so move 5. Okay, I want it right there. 5699 is 45. Boom, just like that. And then 2 will be 39, except this will be 144. So then when you run, it runs like this instead. So it doesn't interfere and like get all messed up with the other ones. Depending on what your system is, you can kind of set these up however you want. That's just how I'm doing it. And all that kind of stuff. So fantastic. Now let's set up the third one. So my third one, I want it to be an up. So I want you to show, set this to an up for me. Say I want it right there. Okay, and then I'll go to 52 and negative 10. Again, checking right here for these coordinates. So we run it. Boom, it does that. All nice. I'm going to set up the rest of these, and then when I'm done, I'll be right back. Okay, I've just finished up mine. All 10 of my possible places they can be. So let me check. I'm going to just temporarily hide this character attributes list just so we can see. And boom, that's how it should look. Depending on however setup you came up with, it should look something along the lines of this. You can have all your buttons where you need them, still keeping in count space if you add more than 2 digits here. That's very, very important. Okay, I'm gonna show this again. I'm also gonna move it over here since we know what these things say. So what we'll do now is we're gonna copy this again, right? It's not necessary to do this. I just like to make it because even though it's not as compact as it could be, I'm trying to make these as simple as possible to understand, and I think doing it like this makes it a little bit easier to understand. So what you're going to do is you're going to just copy that and then get rid of everything in each of these, right? Get rid of everything in each of these so that you have these empty spaces. And I'm just going to do this just so we can start easily. But that's basically what you're going to do if you want to do it a little bit faster. So what we're going to do is we're going to do if selector equals 1, you're going to say if, right? You're going to do if, oh my goodness, and put an and in there. if touching mouse pointer and the mouse is down, and again, this is our 1. So 1, if you remember what our 1 looked like, that was this one, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now, how if you set yours up in a little bit of a different way than mine, that's going to be a little bit different for you, you know, depending. You'll just have to figure out where each of your ones is. But I know 1 is this, so that would increase my strength by 1. So if you click that, which is what this does, touching mouse pointer and mouse down means click, and that's identifying if you're clicking 1, right? Understand? We all get it. Awesome. What we will do is we will start by grabbing a wait until in our control menu, and we will say not mouse down. This fixes some issues where once you click down, it won't actually run anything until you finish the click, which is letting go. So you know you have the click down, click up. That's what it's waiting for. It's waiting for the click to come back up. So it can't put a bunch into one and make it really annoying. So wait until mouse is not down, and then what we will do is we will run an if statement right here. We'll say if, and we'll grab a greater than symbol from our operators menu, and we will say if item 1 of character attributes, which is how many character points we have, is greater than 0, meaning if it has 1, meaning if it at least has 1 or more, right? So if character attributes is more than 1, you will change. So you'll replace item 1 of character attributes, go to your operators, grab a minus, and say item 1 of character attributes -1, because you're taking 1 point away from character attributes. And all that does is, if you hit this, we'll see what happens. See, it's at 20, we hit this, it just goes down to 19. That's all it does. Awesome. So you see now if we run this and we click this button, I know what's going on. Okay. Right here. This is in a forever loop. Put that in a forever loop. That should run pretty fine then. You see when you click this, every time we click this, see how our character points are going down whenever we click it? Pretty awesome, right? Pretty awesome. And that also stops that number from going into the negatives by running this little bit of information right here. So now what we'll do is we'll have to then replace item 2 of character attributes, which again is our strength, with item 2 of character attributes +1. Because all it's doing is it's adding 1, it's taking 1 away from character attributes, or it's taking 1 away from character points and adding 1 to strength. So there we go. Boom. That's all you need to do right there. Okay, and now what we can do is we can copy this big section that we had as selector 1, put it right underneath there, and change the selector to 2. And then run this all the same, except you'll be changing this to 3. Run it again, set this to 3, changing these to 4. Run this again, put it underneath, set this to 4, set these to 5, set this to 5, set these to 6. And that's all you'll need, really. Well, not quite. That's actually a lie. I'm sorry. So hold up, run back to 2. Run back to 2, because remember, our 2 is a down. So it's a little bit different. What it's doing is it's adding 1 to attributes, and it's subtracting 1 from 2, because you're getting rid of 1 from strength. And if you remove something from strength, you give it back to character points. Sorry there. So this is all strength right here. So you'll copy this so that you get both of these, and we'll edit them just right here. Selector equals 3 and 4. If it's 3, you will minus character attributes, and then this gets set to 3. There we go. Okay, perfect. And then this all stays the same, and setting this to 3. Okay, there we go. And then you can connect that, duplicate that to get 2 big kahunas, and that'd be 5 and 6. Just set this to 4s, and set this to 4s. Put that underneath, duplicate that again. Make these 7 and 8. Set these to 5. Again, there are much more compact ways to do this, but I'm trying to make this as easy to understand as possible, and I feel like this is the easiest way to understand it, while also making it, look nice. And then 9 and 10. Setting this to 6, 6, 6, and 6. Okay, and run that just like this. And now what you can, in theory, do is you can hide this character attributes list so people don't have to see it. Hit run, does that. You see, you want to add 1 to strength. It adds 1 to strength, takes 1 away from points. Defense, put 1 in intellect, put one in dexterity, put one in charm. Maybe we want to put a few more into strength, put a few more into intellect, put a few more into charm, put one into dexterity. Oh no, but I want more. I want some in defense. Well, let's sacrifice. Okay, it looks like our down arrows aren't working. Let's figure out why these down arrows aren't working. So, if selector equals 2, which is the down arrow, and you press that, it'll wait till it's not. Oh, here's the thing right here. Right here. So whenever we try to subtract something, it checks if we have more than one. What we should do is regardless. Well, I guess we should probably check to make sure that it's smaller than 20, that it's smaller than 21, or that it's smaller than 20, right? Because I have 20 points possible, so if it's less than 20, we can give one back. But if it's 20 or more, there's no point in giving one back because we didn't spend one. So that's what you're gonna need to do. So on every even number, set this to a smaller than 20, and that's our little issue right there. That's our little issue. So here's an 8, boom, 20, and then 10, boom, 20. Okay, there we go. So, okay, we want to add some to strength. Let's add some to defense, add some to intellect, add some to dexterity, add some to charm. I want more in charm. Well, maybe I'll sacrifice some defense, and you'll see that when I click that, it gives us our points back now. I'll sacrifice some defense for some charm, but I kind of want a little bit more defense, so let's sacrifice some dexterity for some defense. And there you go. And now you'll see no matter what you do, you can't get them back, but if you get rid of all of these, okay, here we have an issue. Take a look at that. How we're already up to 20, but that didn't work. Okay, so what's going on there is you press down, and even if you don't have anything, it's still getting rid of them, which is an issue. So let's go to these even numbers again, right? And what we will check is, we will check right here. We'll run an if statement. We'll say if just around when we minus an attribute, right? You'll say if, let's just grab this. If item 2 of character attributes is greater than 0, then it will remove it. That's all you have to add. Okay, so let's copy this and just take that out. Go down to 4. Let's copy it, put it around there. Switch that to 3 because it corresponding with these. Fantastic. Put it around here. Set it to 4. Copy that. Oh, I put that on a 5, didn't I? Yes, I did. Yes, I did. Oh my goodness. Can't be on a 5. Only on even numbers. Only on even numbers. So boom. I did it on 3. I did not do it on 3. Okay. 6. We want to do it on 6. Set that to 4. Let's go down to 8. And again, when I'm referring to even numbers, I mean the selector button right here. Set this to 5. And then let's go down to 10. Set that to 6. Okay. See, it's these little issues. I like to keep myself messing up in these tutorials because it can show that you just checking for little things can fix stuff. Okay, so here we go. We add a bunch of points to strength. Some boom, 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 boom. Okay, boom. And now you see when I go down on the strength, I shouldn't be able to go below 0 now. Okay. See, I can't go below 0, but what's still happening is I'm still gaining points. So see, I'm getting rid of them, but even after it hits 0, okay, well that's a poor choice of example. So I go down to 0, but even when I click down again, I'm still gaining a point. So how can we solve that? That's also very easy. All you need to do is just, so in here, all you really need to do is just move this inside, I think is what you should have to do, just like that, right? Just move it in just like that. Just make sure I have that in the right order. Yeah, okay, so I put 1 on top. So boom, just like this. So let's check that before we do anything else. Okay, that was 2 that I just changed, right? Yes, it was. Okay, fantastic. So let's put all our points into, let's just divvy out the points. Okay, let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, there we go. And now when we click it, we don't gain more points. We can't gain more points than we lose. Okay, so cool. That's the system we have to pull off. Now we'll just go to everyone. So here's 4. We'll just switch these up just like that. Go to 6, bring that up just like this. Go to 8, bring these up. Go to 9 and bring these up. Okay, there we go. Now after all that work, we can see that we can divvy up points however we want them to be divvied. Okay, and say I can add some more to each of these. There we go, I can have 4. I can't add any more, but if I take one away, then I can add another one, and everything works just how we need it to. So there we go. In the next episode, I'll teach you how to transfer from this screen to the next one. Maybe I'll put in a title screen before this, all that kind of fun stuff. So I hope this was informative to you. And I'm sorry that I did some mistakes, but I feel like the mistakes are necessary to show. I feel like they're good to show the mistakes that are made, so you know that if you make mistakes, just look for little things, and I'm sure you can figure it out. So I'm gonna leave the episode here. Thank you all so much for watching. If you liked it, didn't like it. If you didn't like it anyways, because this series is going to be miles better than the original. But thank you all so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.
Cause I